Solitude. Through the years, I've been blessed being in the company of masters and learning from them all over the world. When we go to school, the first teacher in school tells us 1 plus 1 is 2. In the African tradition, our first teacher is the master. And the master will tell you, this is 2.
Come, because you will.
So that starts your life's journey under the guidance of the master to understand what to do. It's a long and arduous journey, the one that we accept.
From Jalingo.
I'm Taraba, Adamawa. Taraba, Adamawa.
What's the apple? Against my
One famous past dimension. Anytime, anything. 26 other schools of Mali.
yeah.
Come there, catch some fun. Old school, new school.
Any fire, you know,
Yeah. Man. Bad. La. So, DJ Soleil, I'm out.
and going to the convos and solo, J. Usman, don't patch up nigga. Where my jambadi? For the look.
International fashion designer.
That guy, so my clothes. You sure? On a good day.
This Margaret Garner, in fact, escaped from Kentucky in 1855 and got to Cincinnati with her 4 children, lived with her mother-in-law, who was a preacher, and was caught by some slave catchers. And when she saw them, she ran out and to the shed behind her house and succeeded in killing one, but tried to kill all 4. She hit the boys in the head with a shovel, cut one of the girls' throat, and was about to slam that 3rd child up against the wall. She was much made of by abolitionists at that time. Said, you see how terrible it is. Because when she was interviewed, she's a young woman in her 20s. And the pictures of her, she's so serene. She was not crazy. She was not foaming at the mouth. She simply said, they cannot live like that. I will not permit them to live the way I have lived. Well, for me, it was the ultimate gesture of the loving mother. It was also the outrageous claim of a slave. The last thing a slave will know is her children. And as an expression of affection, it is extreme. But on the other hand, when you think about the way in which mothers and fathers relate to their children, it's very much like that. You say to a child, you, of all things, cannot be dirtied, cannot be sullied. They can do it to me, but not to my children. Because that is the best part of you. That's the immortality. That's the best thing you've ever done. So you move that whole constellation of emotions forward into this desperate circumstance, and you say, I prefer that to kill my children is preferable to having them die.
Wow, laughing baby. The Lord knows what his first name is. Like, I don't even know. Or like,
Hey, yo, check this out, man. It's Dog P right here, you know what I mean? What up, G? What's poppin', my niggas? You know what I'm saying? You know how I do it, man. BigWorldStarHipHop.com, you know what I mean? HNIC2.com. So it's poppin', man. This is what we do, man. This is 50.com, you know what I mean? We run this shit, man. We control the internet game. Let me let y'all niggas know something, man. You know what I mean? Got a lot of fucking garbage-ass rappers out here running around like niggas ain't supposed to be rappers, son, you know what I mean? This game is meant for a select circle of few, select few, man. Everybody's not for everybody, man. Just don't
Haven was dead. Haven was dead. And he had not loved her one bit. And guitar was somewhere. In Shalimar there was general merriment at his quick return, and Pilate blended into the population like a stick of butter in a churn. They stayed with Omar's family, and on the second and last evening, Milkman and Pilate walked up the road to the path that led to Solomon's Leap. It was the higher of the two outcroppings of rock, both flat-headed, both looking over a deep valley. Pilate carried the sack, Milkman a small shovel. It was a long way to the top, but neither stopped for breath. At the very top, on the plateau, the trees that could stand the wind at that height were few. They looked a long time for an area of earth among the rock faces large enough for the interment. When they found one, Pilate squatted down and opened the sack while Milkman dug. A deep sigh escaped from the sack, and the wind turned chill. Ginger, a spicy, sugared ginger smell enveloped them. Pilate laid the bones carefully into the small grave. Milkman heaped dirt over them and packed it down with the back of his shovel. Should we put a rock or a cross on it? Milkman asked. Pilate shook her head. She reached up and yanked her earring from her ear, splitting the lobe. Then she made a little hole with her fingers and placed in it the same snuff box with the single word Jake ever wrote. She stood up then, and it seemed to Milkman that he heard the shock after she fell. He dropped to his knees and cradled her lolling head in the crook of his arm, barking at her. You hurt? You hurt, Pilate? She laughed softly, and he knew right away that she was reminded of the day he first met her and said the most stupid thing there was to say. The twilight had thickened, and all around them it was getting dark. Milkman moved his hand over her chest and stomach, trying to find the place where she might be hidden. Pilate, you okay? Couldn't look out her eyes. His hand under her head was swept fountain. Pilate? She sighed. Watch Reba for me. And then, I wish I'd have known more people. I would have loved them all. If I'd have known see her face and saw darkness staining his hand, not sweat, but blood, oozing from her neck down into his cupped hand. He pressed his fingers against the skin as if to force the life back in her, back into the place it was escaping from, that only made it float faster. Frantically, he thought of tourniquets and could even hear the rip of cloth. He should have been tearing. He shifted his weight and was about to lay her down, but better to wrap her wound when she spoke again. She said, "Sing a little something for me." Milkman knew no song and had no singing voice that anybody would want to hear, but he couldn't ignore the urgency in her voice, speaking the words without the least bit of a tune. He sang for the lady. "Sugar girl, don't leave me here. Cotton balls to choke me. Sugar girl, don't leave me here. Buckran's arm to yoke me." The blood was not pulsing out any longer, and there was something black and bubbly in her mouth. Yet when she moved her head a little to gaze at something behind his shoulder, it took a while for him to realize that she was dead. And when he did, he could not stop the worn old words from coming louder, louder, as though sheer volume would wake her. He woke only the birds, who shuddered off into the air. Milkman laid her head down on a rock. Two of the birds circled round her. One dived into the new grave and scooped something shiny in its beak before it flew away. Now he knew why he loved her so. Without ever leaving the ground, she could fly. "There must be another one like you," he whispered to her. "There's got to be at least one more woman like you." Even as he knelt over her, he knew there wouldn't be another mistake. That the minute he stood up, Guitar would try to blow his head off. He stood up. "Guitar!" he shouted. "Tar, tar, tar," said the hill. "Over here, brother man. Can you see me?" Milkman cupped his mouth with one hand and waved the other over his head. "Here I am!" Am, said the rocks. "You want me? Huh? You want my life?" Squatting on the edge of the other flat-headed rock with only the night to cover him, Guitar smiled over the barrel of his rifle. "My man," he murmured to himself. "My main man." He put the rifle on the ground and stood up. Milkman stopped waving and narrowed his eyes. He could just make out Guitar's head and shoulders in the dark. "You want my life?" Milkman was not shouting now. "You need it? Here." Without wiping away the tears, taking a deep breath, or even bending his knees, he leaped, as fleet and bright as a lodestar. He wheeled toward Guitar, and it did not matter which one of them would give up his ghost in the killing arms of his brother. For now he knew what Shalimar knew. If you surrendered to the air, you could ride it.
You know, life ain't nothing but a rhythm.
Hey, folks.
Is this on?
You know, life ain't nothing but a rhythm.
Is this on? Is this on? Is this sure whether I have a question or I would like to make a comment and maybe you could respond to it, but I think maybe what I have to say,
You know, life ain't nothing but a rhythm.
something that I read last night. It's rich enough to make me respond to many. The last person who just spoke, and certainly things about the inside and the outside, and
You know, life ain't nothing but a rhythm.
Ready to champion the day? Ready?
You know, life ain't nothing but a rhythm. You know, life ain't nothing but a rhythm. You know, life ain't nothing but a rhythm.
actually, I'm not sure whether I have a question or I would like to make a comment and maybe you could respond to it, but I think that maybe what I have to say, something that I read last night, it's rich enough to maybe respond to many things, even the last person who just spoke, and certainly things about the inside and the outside. And I'm just recounting shortly, because I can't do it verbatim, a story that probably both of you know, and I had just read it for the first time last night, in really the introduction to Paul Taylor's new book on Black aesthetics. And he recounts the story of, actually it was this was taking, the story took place on a slave ship that just landed, I believe, in Suriname. And so the black slaves are coming up out of the hold, and the person who had recounted this would seem as he said, they looked like you would expect, dark skin, slender, sick, some of them, etc. He said, except for one feature, they had stars in their hair. And so then the capitalist, when looking to buy them, said to the captain of the ship, I mean, what did you do to them? And he said, no. He said, these niggers did it to each other. He said, they took razors and without soap. And they carved stars in their hair. And they carved half moons. So when you're speaking about the inside and the outside, I think about inside there, in the hold, in the dark. People of different languages carving something so outside, way out. They didn't carve just anything. They carved stars and they carved half moons. I think about the outside that they come to. First they're aboard that ship. What happens to them there? I think about then the out from that. So there always seems to be an out from an out from an out from an out. And that next out for many of them will be a field. And I think about what a black man said to me in Dominica quite recently. We were both talking about a little girl who had just been raped and then he was just talking to me about growing up in life. And he said to me, anything can happen in the field. did it silently, and then they would all say machine, and it would echo in the prison, and then people like him who they thought were the ringleaders would get in trouble, because you see they weren't even allowed to do that together collectively. To say the word machine out loud together signaled some kind of freedom that frightened the authorities in the prison.
The devil is a motherfucking liar. So you know I ain't worried. Biatch.
Serious writing began really after I took the job as a textbook editor. Perhaps it was a recent divorce and the fact that I had these two small children, that I was a sole supporter. I know that I was not happy, and I was eager to learn my job, but my spirit was hurt, and I was very lonely. So the writing became a thing to do, after the children were asleep. I was very confused then. The writing was something I did with relief. It was a way of ordering, I think, the universe. No, that's the point. Serious writing. There was a woman named Ivy. There was a woman named Ivy who seemed to hold it. There was a woman named Ivy who seemed to hold it. All of her standing a little apart. Ivy sang the dark calling could not be.
Lord knows what his first name is. Like, I don't even know. What's his last name? I don't know. Girl, I don't even know his first name, but I think his last name is David. See, I was talking with my mother, my friends. We went to this party, and the party was very nice. There was a very nice DJ. The DJ was very talented, and he was playing some tunes. lot of jazz, a lot of hip hop, a lot of different things I never heard in my life. And I asked the bouncer what his name was, and I asked him his first name so I can add him on Facebook. And then he said his last name, David. But I said, sir, I want to know his first name so I can add him on social media. And then he said, the last name, David. Wow, the last name Davis. The Lord knows what his first name is. Like, I don't even know. So, like, what's his last name? I don't know. Girl, I don't even know his first name. Last name is David. His last name is David.
There was a woman named Ivy. There was a woman named Ivy.
Stripping bitches started in Africa. Long time ago, long time ago, white men went to Africa. And he saw these beautiful black women walking around, singing, dancing, working, living in the nude. Bucket naked. You can see they public hair. This white man went from village to village to seek out these beautiful black women, watching them perform in the nude. Did it! Hey, white man had an idea. He figured he gonna go back to Europe and start the same type of business, take away from our black women. Try to get those white bitches to dance the same identical way. Huh? But to no avail. Wasn't no shame in our black women. Wasn't no shame in them walking around bucket naked. Stripping bitches started in Africa. Long time ago, long time ago, white men went to Africa. He saw these beautiful black women walking around.
There was a woman named Ivy who seemed to hold in her mouth all of the sounds of Pauline's soul. Standing a little apart from the choir, Ivy sang the dark sweetness that Pauline could not name. She sang the death-defying death that Pauline yearned for. She sang of the stranger who knew. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm worn. Through the storms, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call. Hold my hand, lest I fall.
for the soul. Yeah, good for the living people. Yeah, good for the heart. Yeah, good for the heart. Good for the soul. Yeah, good for the living people. Yeah, good for the heart. Yeah, good for the heart. Good for the soul. Yeah, good for the living people. Yeah, good for the heart. Yeah, good for the heart. Good for the soul. Yeah, good for the living people. Yeah, good for the heart. Yeah, good for the heart. Good for the soul. Yeah, good for the living people. Yeah, good for the heart. Yeah, good for the heart. Good for the soul. Yeah, good for the living people. Yeah, good for the heart. Yeah, good for the heart. Good for the soul. Yeah, good for the living people. Yeah, good for the heart. Yeah, good for the heart. Good for the soul. Yeah, good for the living people. Yeah, good for the heart. Singing right now, she'd say, she made a song about Johnson and share it later if I can. One point out there in Fillmore tonight. Would you? I want to do if I can. I can sing right now, she'd say, I can remember one day I was about 5 years old, sitting on the front porch out there in Fillmore tonight. Would you? I can remember one day if I can. I can sing right now, she'd say, she made a song about Johnson and share it later if I can. Out there in Fillmore tonight. Would you?
When I wrote Sula, because I knew then I couldn't stop.
I remember one day I was 5 years old, sitting on the front porch out there in Fillmore tonight. Would you? I can remember one day I can sing right now. She made a song about Johnson and share it later if I can. Front porch out there in Fillmore tonight. Would you? I want it if I can. I can sing right now. She'd say, I remember one day I was about 5 years old, sitting on the front porch out there in Fillmore tonight. Would you?
Welcome to Blackboard Jungle.
knows what his first name is? Like, I don't even know.
When I wrote Sula, it was because I knew then I couldn't stop writing. Same thing, song. I always wrote for the people in the room. Those are always the people over my shoulder who watch. And they say, and say that. Or they say, okay, that's just about right. There was a woman named Ivy. There was a woman named Ivy. There was a woman named Ivy to hold in her mouth all of the sounds of Pauline's soul. Standing a little apart from the choir, Ivy sang the dark sweetness that Pauline could not name. She sang the death-defying death that Pauline yearned for. She sang of the stranger who knew. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm worn. Through the storms, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call. Hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on.